everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Haley and you're watching Between the Pages. So my last book review for you is Christmas in Coconut Creek by Karissa Kinword. This is from the same author as Forget Me Not. This is based on a fan fiction that she originally posted to Tumblr, and then it got posted on Vella, which is like Kindle's, Amazon's like subscription thing where you can like pay per chapter or something like that. I'm not sure. I never subscribed to it because I was like, yeah, I don't really want to spend that money on that. And so she pulled it off Vella and she published it into an actual book. So this, like I said, was based on a published fan fiction that she put on Tumblr, and it was Frankie Morales from Triple Frontier. So we're seeing a theme here. Because another one that I've read is also based on Frankie from Triple Frontier, from what I could find from the internet. Because this other one that I've read, I never read when it was originally published. I never read this one either, because I think I read a couple, maybe like the first chapter or so when it was on Tumblr, and I was like, yeah, I feel like Frankie's really like out of character here. And so a lot of times if I feel like a character is not behaving like they would in the source material, a lot of times I'm like, yeah, no thanks, next please. But I loved it reading it in this because I could separate her Frankie from the Frankie that I had in my head. Still was picturing him in my head, but I was like, okay, it's not the same character. This is a completely different character. So this is about Ophelia, who is going to spend Christmas in Coconut Creek with her friend Nat, who is called Tally. I'm not sure why she's called Tally. Maybe we'll figure that out in the next book, because I think the next book are about Nat and Mateo, I think. This is book 1 in a series. So, and it's called the Dirty Delta series, because all of these guys were on a Delta special ops team together in the Army. And I think it was the Army. I'm not sure if it's ever specified, but yeah. She goes to visit her friend Nat for Christmas because she doesn't want to be, her parents are divorced and they each have like their own separate like new families. And so she usually is like stuck between two families around Christmas. And so she's like, you know, fuck this. I'm going to go to Coconut Creek and spend it with my best friend Nat. And so she gets on the plane and she's like swiping through, they call it hookup, but it's basically Tinder. And so she's swiping and she finds this guy called Frankie Casada, or Casado, something like that. And she's, like I said, she's scrolling through his pictures and she swipes, and she looks up and it turns out that like this guy is on the same flight as her. And so she's like, okay. So they have like a kind of like a meet cute like first date thing, and they're like, okay, bye. You got my number, you have my contact. If you want to, you know, meet up while we're both here, we can do that. And then hijinks ensue, and we find out that Frankie is best friends and roommates with Mateo, who's dating Nat, whose best friend is Ophelia. So it's kind of like Hallmarky shenanigans and things like that. I really like this because it's kind of like, it's got a fake dating trope and like dating lessons. And because it's been a while since Frankie has dated anybody, and Ophelia's like, okay, well, we're going to pretend like you're taking me on a date. So they have a bunch of those dates, and of course, you know, they fall in love, and it is smutty. So if you like that, I feel like most of these published fan fictions are smutty, which is fine. And it's funny because the last 3 books I read after this one were all smutty. So I like to read smutty things, so sue me. So it's typical like Hallmark type things. There's no third act breakup, no miscommunication trope, which I really liked, because 2 of the books on my list, there was a miscommunication trope, and I fucking hate it. I do not like the third act breakup, because I'm like, really? Whereas like this in the third act, there wasn't a breakup. It was like, okay, I live here, you live there, how are we gonna make this work? And I'm like, yes, real life issues in a book. I appreciate that because a lot of people have to deal with that. They're in long distance relationships and they're like, okay, well, I live here and you live there. How are we going to make this work? Am I going to move there? Are you going to move here? You know, and everything. And then of course, at the end, there's like a Christmas proposal. Like there is in every Christmas, like rom-com romance book thing, which is fine. It's fine. It's just a little formulaic. Which this is marketed as like a smutty Hallmark book anyway, so don't know why I was surprised. It shouldn't be. But yeah. I cannot wait until Mateo and Tally's book. And then there's two brothers who are modeled off of Charlie Hunnam and Garrett Hudland from Triple Frontier. And they're the Tyler brothers. I think or maybe they're Taylor? I don't know. I think one's named Sam and one's named Tyler, I think. They're not in the book that way, like the last like 50, 75 pages, so their names escape me at the moment. So I'm really curious to see how all of these tie into each other. I don't really read a lot of romance books that are like in a series that have overlapping people, but I'm excited for Mateo and Tally's book because I want to see like how Frankie and Ophelia are doing, see if the Tyler brothers are gonna have, or Taylor, whatever their last names are. I want to see what hijinks they get up to because I love them. Except in my head I was like, okay, well, which one's supposed to be Will and which one is supposed to be Benny? I was like, I can't tell who's supposed to be who, or if you've swapped the personalities, which is fine because these characters are completely different, but then their counterparts in Triple Frontier. So yeah, that was my review for Christmas in Coconut Creek, and I will see you guys later. Bye!